Welcome to 155, a podcast about punk songs. I'm Sam Sutherland.
And I'm Josiah Hughes. Do you think we could keep this kind of tone for the whole time?
I think if we did like thoughtful podcaster trying not to wake the baby tone for this entire episode, we did do an entire ASMR episode.
That's true.
And that was admittedly like
that was
harder.
The closest I've ever felt to you, to be honest.
It was, yeah. It was like an entirely intimate one. This is intimate, but it feels like professionally intimate. This feels like the performance of intimacy, whereas like whispering to each other for 45 minutes felt like real, like under the covers, telling secrets about punk to each other.
Well, let's just see if, at least for the intro, we can keep it like this. We can hop in and watch together. And
I'm watching. We're watching together. Oh, yeah.
155 is a podcast about punk songs. To get more episodes and listen to past episodes and get bonus episodes, find out what song we're doing, give us your say on what you'd like to see us do in the future, head on over to http://www.patreon.com/155pod. $5 a month.
Don't forget to rate and review. Every little bit counts. And we want to thank our sponsor, mattressfooddelivery.com. It's a mattress, and it's also a meal kit. Mattressfooddelivery.com. This is good.
Okay, this week we're fucking talking about Electro Hippies.
What? Oh, psych! It's our punkest episode yet, you fuckers!
I think it really is, bro. I mean,
shit.
Dude, this song fucking cooks.
Yeah, this song punks out. I heard this, and I knew the answer to the question, which is that, like, I'm punk now that I've listened to this song and started a podcast episode about it, for sure.
Okay, well,
this is punker than the Crass episode, because the Crass episode
was kind of a joke.
Sort of like we're kind of trolling Crass episode.
Well, and we're gonna hear from a very punk friend. Actually, wait, we may as well listen to the last little bit.
Yeah,
I love the very end of the song.
It's like a minute long.
The very end is so satisfying.
Also, you know what sucks though? This is absolutely gonna get copyright tagged. I'm sure Electro Hippies.
Yeah, probably. Okay, listen.
Yeah, Warner Music Group.
No, you're not.
It's good. It's true. And that is true of anyone listening to a podcast about punk songs.
That's true. I mean, that's the thing. Going into this episode, I enjoy the fear of this show sometimes. It gets too easy sometimes when we're just like dunking on Good Charlotte or whatever. And going into this one, I think going into next week, I'm feeling a different kind of fear with the fan pick that everyone will find out soon in their inbox if they subscribe to the Patreon.
Yeah.
But this week, I'm feeling what I find interesting with this, I'm feeling kind of the poser fear that is still in me at 35 years old. And so that's kind of a fun tension.
Do you really think that, like, is there anyone who listens to the show who isn't a bike courier in Montreal who's going to judge us? I don't even think, not that they're not a judgmental crew. It's more to say that, like, how many people do you think listen to the podcast? Okay, so there you go. So by name, the people who will be mad at you for, like, me personally not knowing fucking shit about this band. And maybe you knowing something, but either way, us sort of like haphazardly finding our way through this episode. Like, who are you embarrassed to have listened to?
But that's what I'm saying is kind of, it's like a sense memory that shouldn't exist anymore. It doesn't matter. Who cares? And the other
even if there was someone you could name, you shouldn't care.
Exactly. Like, who gives a fuck? But that's the other funny thing is that I think podcasting, and it's funny we were just doing that podcast thing at the start, because I was thinking about podcasting leading up to this too, and how the kind of go-to thing.
A lot about podcasting.
The go-to thing.
Well, yeah, man.
The go-to thing that people critique about podcasters is that they like kind of feign expertise about things, and us doing this is like, like from a distance, it might be us presenting ourselves that we know what we're talking about, but we're obviously don't have a clue. And so obviously anything that is said is going to be from the Wikipedia, and it's going to probably be read incorrectly or something. But that's just kind of the funny thing is like going like from a distance, the 16-year-old version of me would have thought, well, if you're going to do an episode about Electro, Hippies, and my punk yet, it needs to be like the most well-researched, thorough, and like true kind of thing ever. Whereas listening to that song is sounds like a party. It sounds like a power violence party, basically. And I love it, and I'm excited to just goof around with you for the next little bit. So that's the freedom of that. It's like you got to kill the gatekeeper in your head, you know?
Well, it's so funny because I had that exact thinking. Like listening to this, I was like, "This is an insanely fun and sick song that I like," and I kind of feel like that's the point. And so it's so great to have something that like feels like it's built to be gatekept, also be so innately like fun and accessible. Instead of being, because so many things that are like gatekept are also difficult. There's nothing difficult about this song. It's just like a very cool, fun time.
Exactly. Okay, so let's get through some facts that I'm just reading from Wikipedia. And
I always like to go like Wikipedia +1, you know? So like Wikipedia, sure, for like the dates, but then if I can find, you know, the articles that Wikipedia is referencing, I pretend that that's where I found
I know,
my fact,
that's the thing.
You know?
I mean, I'm not going to pretend. I do have some pretty cool videos that I found that we can get into, but also our +1 this week is Chris Goldsmith, the D-Beat and Crustman of the pod. He's gonna stop by and help us with Electro Hippies. I'm gonna go ahead and level with you. I had never heard the song before this week. He suggested it to me for Punk Month, and then a few other people in the Discord. Some of the real heads in there were like some people were like, "Oh, I've never heard of this in my life," and then other people were like, "Oh yeah, this is my favorite band ever. I own the 7-inch or whatever." You know, it's like, so I think there is some headiness to this band, which you can kind of just tell from a distance. I mean, even all the like artwork and stuff is so cool. They have like a cool logo that's kind of the happy face crust man, smiley man. They have like a cool font and everything. Like their
font is so sick. The whole thing is very sick.
It's sick. Like this was on the compilation Play Fast or Die, which we reference on our art this week as well. But there's like a lot of like vegan stuff with like Ronald McDonald as the angel of death holding up a starving baby, and there's just like it's like.
Oh yeah,
it's so cool.
That's the stuff. See, I love like Crustpunk stuff that looks like Adbusters stuff.
But it also like doesn't just it looks like Adbusters, but it also kind of looks like Mad Magazine. And Marsden recently showed me this thing of the band Dystopia had a shirt, and the reference on the shirt was like the globe wearing a gas mask, which is very globe hellish to begin with. But then also that was stolen from an old Mad Magazine cover. And so it's like it all comes full circle. And that's what I'm realizing is that like my whole life, we talked about this in the Crass episode too, but my whole life I thought that all this stuff was so serious, but it's all so funny and just like fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it all sort of deliberately presents as like maybe dour is not the word. I don't know. It's like a superficial reading of it because I mean, obviously, I had the same relationship to it, but you can't look at this cover and think like these people. Well, I don't know. I think maybe some people do mean it. Like, I think there are two ways of looking at like the artwork that I'm looking at right now for Play Fast or Die, which is that like it is like it obviously like literally does look sick. Like it's well designed. Like it's a cool fucking drawing. And I think there are probably some people who look at this and think that it's less funny and more like just badass. But right. I mean, that's true of like everything. That's like people look at the fucking Blink-182 logo and think that it looks badass.
Yeah, but whereas that looks badass and bad, and this looks badass
yeah,
and
there's
cool.
no possible generous interpretation of that.
But if you look long enough, you can see like in the top left corner, there's like that cute little kitty cat that kind of looks like Ziggy or something, spray painting. Yeah. And like there are little details to, it's very like humanizing actually. And it makes them seem so cool.
It all really reminds me, and I've talked about this before, but of the punkest guy I've ever met, Ken Freeman, you know, covered in tattoos like a penguin spray painting "fuck life" on a you know brick wall. Like, very cute penguin. And you're like, he's really funny. They're like, okay, that's intense, right? Like again, I think I've described literally all of his tattoos at various points, you know, during our many podcasts. But like, you can both mean the thing and recognize that it's funny at the same time.
Exactly. That's what I've been trying to say this whole fucking time. Finally.
Wait, all right, we're good. Let's shut it down.
Yeah. So, okay, Electro Hippies, I guess they're listed as thrashcore or crustpunk. I think they're kind of proto power violence. I'm pretty sure. Maybe that's something I'm wrong about. Who really cares? But, or proto grindcore for sure. Like, it's super fast. They're formed in 1985, which is also when you and I were formed. Same year.
Oh, damn.
And the guitarist and vocalist Jeff Walker went on to play in the band Carcass. So he eventually became a metalhead. I think he was just too fast to not become a metalhead.
too fast for punk, yeah.
But so Electro Hippies existed for 4 years, and they put out some records, but seemingly this is more just kind of for the heads, being he's known for Carcass more, I think. But this is just this music is so sloppy. It really feels celebratory to me, this song, just musically. It just really it just feels like it's cooking. It reminds me of my favorite Lightning Bolt songs, and it reminds me of when I was a little kid. I'm sure I've said this before too, but this would have been a long time ago. But when I was a kid, my computer at home, my family computer, didn't have a sound card. And so this was the time of, I think, Audio Galaxy. Was Audio Galaxy before or after? It was pre-LimeWire. I think it was Audio Galaxy, maybe SoulSeek. Pretty sure it was Audio Galaxy, but I really wanted to get into punk music. And so I had an issue of MRR, or maybe an issue of Heart Attack that I got at the Java Joint in Surrey. And I circled all the reviews that I thought were interesting, and then I gave it to my friend Nathan, who charged me $5 to look up all the bands and put them on this mixed CD for me. That was 35 tracks, and there was a whole bunch of power violence. I think power violence was really popular at the time, so that's how I got into What Happens Next, and I think maybe Nine Trucks Terror, and Fuck on the Beach, and a whole bunch of these bands at the time. I didn't have the 7-inch. I just had this $5 mixed CDR that Nathan made, because he had this he kind of had a bit of a nerd voice. I love Nathan. He's one of my oldest friends, but he used to sell candy bars from his locker in school, and he had this nerd voice, and so we would always quote him. I don't think he ever actually said it, but we'd always say, "I'm an entrepreneur," and this is another one of his entrepreneurial pursuits, was charging me $5 to make. And it was such a weird, imagine an entire MRR review section. So it had Anti-Scene on there, and Beatercore, another power violence band that I still think is pretty sick, and then The Explosion, all kinds of weird shit. Very 1999-ass punk section. But I don't know, this just reminds me of being that age and feeling that excitement, and then it's just so raw and explosive. And I listened to this, and I think I should have been listening to this kind of stuff all along, because it just rules. It makes me happy.
And now it reminded me of a similar but retrospectively less I guess cool experience maybe, but I was on a swim team when I was in grade 7 or whatever, and I was getting into punk, and there was a kid who was maybe a year or two older, and I think the only CD that he had was Stormtroopers of Death, and I had never heard anything remotely like that, and I recognized Stormtroopers of Death and Electro Hippies do not necessarily sound the exact same, but it was that feeling of someone being yo, you should listen to this, and just being what the fuck, you can do this, and it sounded fun and unhinged in a way that nothing that I was listening to kind of sounded, and hearing this, and hearing in particular legitimately how fun this song is, kind of reminds me of that first experience of hearing something that was totally unlike any punk stuff, quote unquote punk stuff I had heard up until then, and just understanding oh, things can be fast and songs can be under 3 minutes, and it makes me wish that I had a real relationship to these bands, because I got into Carcass basically when they reunited, around Surgical Steel, and then went back and was yo, Recaputrefaction is sick, this record rocks. And I actually interviewed Jeff Walker a million years ago on the 40,000 Tons of Metal cruise that friend of the pod, Justin and I covered for because for a while when we were working for Aux, which is like you wrote there, and it was this like Canadian like music TV channel for a little while, and we had a metal show. And we were kind of trying to revive it. And so Justin and I were just like, we're just going to go and do this like batch set of interviews with a bunch of bands at this festival. It just happens to be on a cruise ship. So Carcass was on the ship. And so got to interview Jeff. But like at that point, just knew Carcass. Like I knew of Electro Hippies, but hadn't kind of gone that deep. But I do have a memory of watching Carcass play like on the, they had built a stage on top of the pool on the top of this cruise ship, like 3 a.m., just like in the middle of the, Gulf of Mexico.
Wait, so you were actually on this cruise?
Yeah, no, I was literally on a metal cruise.
That fucking rules.
Yeah, that Carcass played on. Like Unearth played, Fear Factory played, Obituary played, Darkest Hour played. Like it was
real
Nickel
mixed bag.
Gobblecon, I think it just put out No One's they had it all. There was one of the pirate metal bands, I can't remember. But this is like, you know what? I saw Carcass. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that.
That's amazing. I love that.
It was fucking cool. But then I've watched, there's that documentary, this like sort of Kickstarter thing that's really quite sick and is on YouTube now. They put it up for free called Slave to the Grind. And obviously tons and tons of Carcass in there. And I think there's like a little bit of Electro Hippies, but the whole thing, like thinking about it now, listening to this song, talking about it with you, I'm like, why is this not the music we listen to? Like, why is this not my fucking default? Instead, I'm just like, I'm just going to put in beach slang again. Yeah. Not beach slang, by the way. Would never put them on again.
Well,
listen, I'm just old habits. But
I know. I mean, that's the beauty, though, of now is that we can do that because I don't think I want to hear any more new stuff. I've started listening.
The beauty of now.
I've started digging into like the Wilco albums I've never heard and the Aphex Twin stuff I never really got into. I'm ready. I'm just gonna listen to Power Violence all day while I'm just doing chores around the house.
See, I feel like my new interests are in conflict because I also heard a Genesis song that I really liked for the first time this weekend, and I was like, yo, dude, Genesis rock?
Are we talking about Phil Collins era or Peter Gabriel era?
Unfortunately, I'm literally talking about Phil Collins era.
So you either have a lot of work to do or you need to give up right now on Genesis.
Listen, have you heard this song Keep It Dark by Genesis? Because it's fucking banging.
I was raised in a home where we didn't recognize post-Peter Gabriel Genesis, so unfortunately...
I'm to just do a real surface level survey of the Genesis catalog to discover if there were other songs that I liked. I discovered that on Apple, they literally have separate essentials playlists where they're because it is obviously such a hard line for people, but No Reply at All and Keep It Dark are now. So what I'm saying is I simultaneously want to get into the bad Genesis albums and also really into Electro Hippies and Power Violence.
I mean, there's time, but let's talk about these lyrics because it's kind of the beauty of it all is that these conversations we have about all the fucking shit we've been talking about, what this word even means and who can be punk and who can't and gatekeeping, all this stuff. I mean, when this song came out in, I think this is from '85. I think it might be on their first ever practice. Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, before we read the lyrics, let's check this out. I think maybe it's not on this recording, but I do have their first ever practice here. It is, yeah. So in '85, this is them playing it in February '85. I mean, this just sounds like a modern, cool band.
So, oh my god, it sounds so awesome. You know what's crazy about this is you weren't copying anyone. There's no template for this.
Yeah, exactly. This is the template that everyone copies.
That's so crazy.
Even the band illustration in these liner notes kind of looks like King of the Hill, but with peace punks.
Totally. It's just it's wild to me to think what does it take to invent something? Because I've never done anything original in my entire fucking life.
I know, and I seem to be really good at making references and riffing on existing things, but I can't just come up with something.
No, there's got to be a thing to riff on.
Yeah, exactly.
I've always needed to start from somewhere.
Yeah, everything about this visually, musically, production-wise, every single thing about this is exactly what everyone is trying to do. And that's such an old guy thing to say, but you're absolutely right. Like, this is just the dawn of something that lasted forever.
Also, I gotta say, because I also at some point popped open the Wikipedia, so I would, just be able to occasionally say things that sounded intelligent. And they have a fairly light wiki here, but there's like a whole paragraph just dedicated to how much of an early supporter John Peel was. Yeah. And I do feel like that's like the fucking Oprah book club sticker where like, have you ever read about a band that was like, and there's a little like, John Peel was a great fan of this. And you're like, yeah, because it fucking rocks. Like, is John Peel like the only person and obviously like his influence sort of transcends punk, but like the only person associated with punk who like might have genuinely unassailable taste?
So the thing about John Peel is that I don't really know very much about him. I do know from my sources that were he still alive, there's a chance he'd be soft canceled by now or hard canceled. So that's one thing. But I also think
he was a BBC employee. So
the thought of not knowing really much about him, but knowing of him, like it's so corny to say, but I feel like when I heard of John Peel when I was younger, like this guy that likes, all different kinds of music and also knows all about punk and hardcore and like pays attention to the new bands. Like when I learned about him, probably by reading that the Hot Snakes released a John Peel session, and then I like heard of the name and looked it up. I was just like inspired by his very existence when I was younger. I was like, damn, you can just do whatever. Like you can just like everything and still be like a fucking suit on the radio.
Totally. John Peel definitely was rich, and he was rich for liking stuff. Like that's the fucking dream.
Well, we do have his Peel session, so apologies if someone knows anything more about him, and we shouldn't be playing this. But I'm just going to claim ignorance because I barely even know who the guy is, other than he's dead. But he liked a lot of different bands. Here's him introducing the Electro Hippies Peel session.
Damn, I can't believe how
Well, I hope you listened to Anne Nightingale's Rock in Russia, and right towards the end of it, a woman was saying that she was sitting in a taxi in Moscow recently and heard them play a Genesis song followed by a Van Halen song, and as though they didn't have live enough as it was.
Oh my God!
We've got sessions tonight from the Bundu Boys, The Fall, The Darling Buds, Terence Trent D'Arby, the Electro Hippies, and the House Martens. We're going to start with the Electro Hippies. And now the Bundu Boys. Darling Buds, I do like their stuff. I must say, I'd like to see them live one of these days. I couldn't remember is the title of that, and here's a marginally more detailed work from the Electro Hippies.
Oh man, I used to have a Darling Buds 7-inch that I got.
Look at how punk you are.
I know.
You are punk, yeah.
It's true. I like that Electro Hippies still have songs that sound like this. It sound like movie soundtrack punk.
It was early enough, in terms of things not being codified yet.
Yeah.
Right? They were like, all right, and now here's a song that's like a fast Buzzcocks tune.
Yeah. That like, I don't know, Timothy Chalamet's going to pretend to sing in some document, some fucking biopic. But yeah, I mean, the whole session's on YouTube. You can listen to the whole thing. It is pretty cool to hear like some classic radio DJ guy introduce it. I couldn't tell if he just played a quick hit of Electro Hippies at the start and then went into a different song like a gag, or if that's just how it's been edited for YouTube. But I like
British humor is always really hard to parse, so we may never know. YouTube edit or British? Well,
it's true.
Great question.
While we're digging through my vids, okay, we've done that. We've done the first ever practice. Here's a rehearsal recording with them playing Am I Punk Yet? I think this is. I'll have to click through to the video 1 second. But here's a rehearsal recording from some point. I love the riff at the start also.
The riff is fucking so sick. What's with all these bands recording their rehearsals?
I guess because it was like the 80s. Like, what else were they going to do?
Yeah, that's true.
The vocals sound different in every single recording.
Completely different.
This sounds like John Brannon, kind of. And the last one, it sounded like there was a girl singing. But
that's
it works
with
every person. So on YouTube, this says this recording is from a rehearsal. If you know any information about this rehearsal, please leave a comment. So like we don't even know where this is from.
Amazing. Yeah, real John Brain. Check it out, Electro Hippies.
Yeah.
I can't believe we're actually doing talking about punk.
I know. Well, we're definitely
it's
not.
A real unexpected turn.
I would say we're talking on top of punk mostly, but
Right, yeah.
And then this is them playing it live in Liverpool in 1985. It's on a bootleg that I found. That's a 1987 rehearsal in Italy with 2 bonus tracks, which is them performing in Liverpool in 85. So this is Electro Hippies. It's so funny that this also was happening like literally when we were being born, actually. And we're old as fuck. Like
a lot of really important things happening that year.
It's true. I also love that someone even bothered releasing this because it sounds so bad. It's like so buried.
Oh yeah, this sounds like a one of these videos you get where it's like, you know, Electro Hippies, Am I Punk Yet? In an empty mall.
Exactly. Oh, it's so cool though. A different vocal style again. So cool.
This really does sound like you're down the hall. There's something so like oh, I feel like I'm at a rehearsal, you know, space. Again.
Well, that's kind of again like,
trying to find my room.
I feel like that's kind of again culturally horseshoe theory, where some like archivist of Crustpunk is listening to the same thing that some like post irony YouTube addict is listening to, where it's like the Killers, if while your girlfriend and you are fighting in the next room or whatever, like it's listening to the same. The aesthetics are identical, really.
Totally.
But that's why I want to talk about the lyrics for the song. I sent them to you because what I love about it is, so we're talking about if they wrote it in 1985, the same year that we were born. And it feels like it's the same conversation we're always having because
this is basically punk month. Yeah.
I can't tell if I can't even parse whether this is irony or satire or sincere, but I think the message of the song is you will never be punk enough, and that's why I love it, because it's like this moving target. You're always trying to hit it, and you never can because it keeps moving. So the lyrics are,
yeah.
I mean, and that hammer on riff.
This is funny. No one is being serious here.
But, okay, fair. But before we get to the lyrics, I want to say the hammer on riff at the start. Like I cannot emphasize enough how sick it is, and how like to me that's something that makes me think of like metalcore. Not like 1985. Like, I don't know. I really. It's
true. It feels like it's from a different era.
And that's the thing that I like about it is it's not making me feel like a poser. It's just making me feel like I want to investigate more and listen more and find out more about this stuff. It's like kind of the opposite of feeling like a poser. So I love it in that sense.
Calling people in.
The lyrics are, spiked my coat and tied my hair, took my mind and put an A sign there, leather jacket and spiky hair, or should I have a mohawk there? Am I punk? Am I punk yet? Am I punk? Am I punk yet? Exploited records got 'em all. Crass posters cover my wall. GBH, gods of all. Lace my docks and I'm all set. Am I punk? Am I punk yet? Am I punk? Am I punk yet? Interesting rhyme scheme there.
I know.
I guess it just repeats. So that's all the lyrics, those 2 stanzas. I mean...
So which of these things... Okay, so spiked your coat. I think you and I both haven't done that. Tied my hair. What does that mean?
I think... Well, I think...
Dyed my hair? Maybe it's like dyeing it black? Is that what we're talking here?
Possibly. Or like people, when they charge their hair, they like to like tie a little shoelace around it. A crust shoelace. You may have seen that before.
Okay.
Could be that.
So could be that. So either way, that's a no from both of us. Took my mind to put an A sign in there. I don't think I've ever put an anarchy symbol on anything.
That's okay. To me, that's my favorite line because it seems almost dismissive of anarchy.
Well, that's where I think they're being funny, where it's just like it's all about the superficial. Like, obviously these are people who like kind of believe in a lot of the sort of core ethics that they're sort of being cheeky about here.
Because according to Wikipedia, the band strongly embraced the DIY, do-it-yourself ethic, which was very common among many early crustpunk bands. The band's lyrics spoke heavily about animal rights and vegetarianism. A recurring lyrical theme on each LP targeted the McDonald's Corporation. So, yeah.
Right. I love the idea of it was very common for early crust bands to be DIY, but they weren't exclusively DIY. And so, like, I really want to know who in writing this Wikipedia article was like, I'm going to hedge because somewhere there's like, a crust punk band whose first album came out on CBS, right. Or like they always had that sort of studio shine on their, like, I cannot think of one. I can't think of like, who's the sellout crust punk band?
Is it Amoebics?
But now,
Anti-Sect? I don't know. Anti-Cymex? Hard to say. Well, maybe we can. Maybe some real punk. There's got to be a couple of real punks who can tell us.
Yeah, so real punks, get at us. Let us know who. But what I would also love to know, because so like eventual sellouts, fine. But I'm kind of curious. Like, was there anyone who like showed up kind of first day on the scene with the full like merch mall set up at the show? And like their quote unquote demo, like they had gone into a studio and recorded it, and it like sounded really good.
Well, here's a good.
Who are the industry plants of the early crust punk scene that the person writing this Wikipedia entry is like they weren't DIY?
Here we go. Let's get some real history going on in punk rock MBA style. The term crust was coined by Hellbastard on their 1986 Ripper Crust demo. In his book Trapped in a Scene, punk historian Ian Glasper said, "Ripper Crust is widely regarded as the first time the word crust was used in the punk context, and hence the specific starting point of the whole crust punk genre. Although some would attribute that accolade to the likes of Disorder, Chaos UK, and Amoebics several years earlier. In the same book, he quoted the group's vocalist and guitarist Malcolm Scruff Lutie as saying, "A lot of people say we started the crust punk genre, but whatever. If they want to say that, I don't mind, but I'm certainly no Malcolm McLaren saying I invented something I didn't." Damn. So I don't know. Sounds like they're all pretty anti-industry plants, at least early on.
Interesting. Just a very quick cursory Google search for crust punk sellouts has led me to a scan of a zine. I think this is from the 90s. It's badly sourced, but, it looks a certain way that is juxtaposing on two different pages the rider for Earth Crisis and Strife, which includes 15 guest list spots, vegan dinner for 12 people, 6 gallons of spring water, plastic cups, and like assorted fresh fruit. That's basically it. And then on the other page is sort of the handwritten, you may think this is a joke, but it is not. This is what hardcore has turned into. Big business. Like, I want to say 6 gallons of water. I don't know. Like, that's not a ton of water. Anyway, it goes on about how Earth Crisis and Strife have sold out. And
that makes me think that when you want to, obviously we're talking about hardcore now, but when you want to criticize hardcore bands for just like basically working for big Gildan and just being pure capitalistic merch endeavors, like I don't really think they ever sold out. If that's what Earth Crisis and Strife were doing that early on, just having like a very modest and yet still the specificity I think is still diva-ish maybe, but.
I will also say that according to anarcho-punk.net, crass are capitalist traders who have used copyright law to get albums taken down from anarchopunk.net, which I assume basically, it's like one of these like, old school punk blogs that just posts like entire albums like just the whole MP3. But
you're making me think back to the Crass episode when they were shitting all over the Exploited for being so I think that was the one. But Exploited and Crass and GBH are all name dropped in here, which makes me think again, either it's like they've got beef with them, or it's just like they're arriving on the scene and doing a bunch of name dropping so that everyone's like, damn, Electro Hippies really just said that shit? Like it's kind of like a cipher.
Oh, right.
Doing like a diss track.
Coming for the throne. So basically what you're saying is, like Electro Hippies are like Machine Gun Kelly.
And Crass
coming
is
for
Eminem.
Eminem, yeah, okay. I understand now.
Yeah, I don't know. I just love that. I love that this song that seems like a sarcastic song, that it seems like free punk lyrics, basically,
Totally.
is from 1985, the year that I was born. And it's just kind of perfect. I feel so happy from this one, ultimately. There's nothing really to be bummed about or serious about. It's just great. Thank you, Electro Hippies.
Did you ever think about getting Doc Martens? Were you ever like, it's a good idea for me to have some big time visual punk signifier on my body at all times?
Well, I own Doc Martens now, and I have for a few years. But I don't think when I was like a teen, I didn't really. When I was like trying to be punk, when I was trying to be punk instead of just the time when I was just trying to dress like the This Is England TV show.
Okay. So is that what your docs are referencing? This Is England as opposed to
which is still punk, but like in a sort of like three times gentrified over kind of way, I think.
Right.
But, no, I've never tried to dress crust or anything. I might have tried giving myself a mohawk when I was like really little, but no, I immediately got into dyeing my hair black or like the purplish black that you could get, the old lady color. But I never like tried dressing like. What about you? I mean, I'm curious about. Obviously, I'm curious. I'm excited for the future Sammy fashion evolutions that we're going to be working through together. Kind of once we make it big and we're just full-time content creators living in a TikTok house, we're going to do different Sammy looks all the time. But I want to know about the evolution of Sammy up until now in terms of alt fashion, because I feel like it's been the same for a while. You always say.
I've literally dressed the same, I think, since I was in the 7th grade. Like, very minor variations on a theme, but like kind of just like pretty much like stock guy from Etobicoke. I did have like a seriously spiked belt, like not the like kind of flat spikes, like full on like, if you wrapped it around your hand, I don't know, you could punch somebody, like good ass nice spiked belt that eventually broke, and I could never find and I really genuinely kind of like. I probably put like a day's effort into like finding a belt that good again and like couldn't, and then was like, well, I guess I just don't wear this type of belt anymore. But like waited till it broke. I did for a little while have the what I referred to as the Travis Bickle mohawk, but I think we can all in retrospect recognize that it was obviously the Travis Barker mohawk, and I was kidding myself and those around me, claiming that it was actually because I was so enamored with the works of Martin Scorsese and not
what if you started
punk
wearing,
fashion icon.
What if
Travis
you started
Barker.
wearing the punk spike belt now, though? Like, what do you think would
I
happen?
think it'd be interesting. It started like I don't know. I wonder if I would like.
What do you combine with that? Really,
I don't know. How do you sort of complete that look? Like, I'm not really sure. I think that was as punk as I got. In like grade 6, I really wanted to dye my hair green, which I think was like because I liked Green Day or whatever. You know what I mean? Like that aesthetic.
Yeah, I mean, I did that for sure. I dyed my hair green in grade 7 to perform Green Day at an assembly. I think we talked about that before. I definitely did like the Kool-Aid dye a bunch of times, and then eventually
no real commitment.
Well, I did move on to punky colors a few times. Like I definitely dabbled in the dye, but I feel like I was more like alternative rather than just straight up punk. I think because I was always like listening to all kinds of bullshit. Like I was too pretentious to be fully punk, but also too much of a sensitive nerd to be fully pretentious. So I don't know, kind of a bit of a mess. Really,
it's tough, man. We've always been stuck in this middle ground, you and me. Just
Well, we've been riffing. I've been trying to find people discussing the lyrics, but I think everyone just kind of seems to write like "fuck yeah" or like "this is so fast and sick." Like no one really.
I mean, they're basically right.
Yeah, but there are. So before we get into covers, I do kind of want to check out. There's a few other. I mean, there's 2 like crust bands that covered the song that's so sick, but we're gonna listen to our own covers. But I found some other songs that are called "Am I Punk Yet?" that I just want to play real quick. So this one is by a band called the Schwack Hammers, which is such a funny name and makes me think that they're gonna be like really sketchy like farm punks or something. But I think,
totally, like definitely from like outside of Calgary or something.
Yeah, like just where you're like, I don't know if these guys should have been put on this bill, but I didn't. I looked into it a bit further. I think they're just like a band with a funny name. This is "Am I Punk Yet?" by Schwack Hammers.
kind of good too.
It is good. The snare sounds really good to me. I think this band is too obscure, though. I couldn't find the lyrics.
Yeah, I found the Schwack Hammer band from Vietnam, which is led by Canadian Eric Schwack Hammer.
That's this band is from Vietnam?
No, I don't think. I think they're like a resort band that plays in Vietnam. Or something.
Oh, sick.
But I'm saying that's all like Schwack Hammer band. Yeah.
And then so that was the Schwack Hammers. This is
I could show you a video of these Schwack Hammers playing "Don't Speak" by No Doubt at the Louisiana Brew House.
Well, let's not cheapen punk week.
No, but I'm just giving you that's
right,
the vibe.
That's the vibe. Okay.
Hammer.
So the next band is called Fertile Effort, and I feel like this seems like a band that people should know about, but I can't find anything about it. But this is from either 1984 or 1985. A band called Fertile Effort, and the song is called Am I Punk Yet? This video is so fucking cool. Again, a band that just looks very modern.
Yeah.
This looks like Beelines.
I think it's quite possible this next song could be about quite a lot of years. But think maybe not.
Also, the American flag strung up backwards.
Yeah.
Am I punk yet?
It's so sick.
Am I punk now?
It's so cool.
Yo, this band fucking rocks.
I know, what the fuck is it?
People like that song. I think we'll drop it from our set.
This says it's taken from...
Fine.
The caption for this says it's from something called Hardcore Gore. And I'm wondering, like, is this a fake band that's from a horror movie? I can't figure this out at all. No, I think it's real.
It's there's something so fucking like cinematic. Like it's so like they're obviously like they're acting kind of annoyed because there's like no one there and no one's into it, but they're also fucking awesome. And the like chillness of it is what is making it so good. Like the singer is looking really annoyed about asking, "Am I punk yet?"
Yeah, I know. It's like almost too perfectly cool that I can't tell. The person who uploaded it also has like a whole bunch of Glenn Beck videos and a whole bunch of like horror movie footage. So I can't really figure this out at all, but I want to believe that it's real and it's pretty sick.
I mean, Googling just Fertile Effort in quotes and then band gives me no results.
I know. I'm trying it with Hardcore Gore. I can't tell. Yeah.
Do you think we're being punked right now? Are we being punked yet?
Dude, okay, this makes me think of one of the first times I ever felt like the hugest poser. So my first, and now that I'm a retired music writer, I feel safe talking about this. One of my first ever jobs was at Accelerator magazine, which is like a super respected dance music publication. And I knew basically nothing about dance music, but I just kind of bullshitted my way in there and figured out what house music was so that I could write about it for like $25 a CD review or whatever. And it ended up like writing for them for a long time, and I used to write for the visual arts section. And it's like an internationally distributed magazine before it went under, but I would write art columns. I think I interviewed Matt Furry, who did like Pepe like early on, or at least I interviewed like so many of the Beautiful Losers kind of people for that, and I interviewed Jay Retard, and like I kind of became like the guy who would help them understand punk music just for like a year. Like, you know how like not punk music, but like pitchfork punk or whatever. So I became that guy. But I was posing. I really was. And one time I pitched an article because Piss Jeans had a new album coming out. And I was really excited about it. I think I interviewed like early Chromatics for it, and I interviewed Soul Junk. Like, it was pretty sick for someone so early on in their career. But Piss Jeans had a new album coming out, and I was kind of aware Killed by Death, but I didn't know enough. And I interviewed the guitarist from Piss Jeans by email, and it's kind of like, I think it was like an ongoing column that was like, what's your, I forget what it was called, but like your coolest shit. Like Jay Retard talked about his best sneakers that he owns, or like just people who had these like interesting hobbies. And I interviewed the guitarist of Piss Jeans about his like hottest 7 inches that he owned. And he just like made up 6 completely fictional, ridiculous 7 inches that were completely like, I don't know if it's on the internet anymore or not, but they were so obviously fake, and I just didn't know because I was just posing so hard. So we just like ran it as a real thing. And I still like every once in a while when I'm going to sleep get embarrassment chills from little 20-year-old me for doing that.
That's so perfect. That's so good.
Yeah. So maybe that's why I'm just thinking maybe that's happening to us again now with fertile effort. But
it's just like ungoogleable. So yeah, we are definitely, something is happening. Someone is listening and giggling at us.
Maybe the Piss Jeans guitarist did this. I don't know.
Well, doesn't it? I was going to say, and now it's going to sound like but there's something very Piss Jeansy about it.
There is. Like the way the guy's singing, he has a very similar stage presence to Ryan Dick and B-Lines.
He stands in the same way.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a Piss Jeans thing.
I mean, it's
there's no way. This video has 218 views, and this is the only mention of a band called Fertile Effort. It also could be something where, like, you know, bit of like the haze of time. Maybe this band was called, like, I just tried Googling Futile Effort in case like the name was wrong.
Yeah.
This is so embarrassing. Because I'm just imagining someone screaming at whatever podcast platform they use to listen to 155. Don't forget to rate and review. But anyway, if you're yelling at us, please yell at us on Twitter.
Yeah,
or on Discord.
I would love to know like who that is. Anyways, the final of the Am I Punk Yet? So this is a fest seeming band, I think, and I think they're called Randy Thunderbird, and they have
Randy from Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is very festive.
It sounds, I'm not going to lie, it sounds fucking horrible compared to all the other stuff we're listening to.
I'm contractually obligated to say I think this sounds sick.
Do you think they'll say Am I Punk Yet on it or no?
I think I've got to give him a chance. Damn, that poster that's in this, I think this was Randy Thunderbird's last show, unfortunately.
Check out what I just found. Look at the byline on that one.
Oh, wow. Oh, from Kalamazoo. Yeah.
Are they going to say it? I feel like these kind of bands don't say it. They name their song something and then don't. I hate how the birds are flying out of Randy from Trailer Park Boys' belly button. It's really making me feel itchy inside my belly button.
It's really grotesque. But I do love that they're from Kalamazoo, a great town. Nothing but love for Casey.
I bet you're friends with this band. Probably.
For sure. That's why I'm like, we actually never played. Maybe we played Kalamazoo once. We were more of a Grand Rapids band than
I'm gonna go ahead.
Band.
Oh, I think I had really bad diarrhea in a gas station in Kalamazoo one time. To be honest, I don't know if it's a secret who wrote this review or not, but there's someone from a listener and a friend of ours reviewed this.
I like that the only reason that we're acting like it's a secret is because you shit on the band and the review is positive.
No, I don't know. I'm pretty embarrassed of being a music writer up until today, I think. But
oh wow! Oh, she even mentions Am I Punk Yet in the review.
Yeah, so we got to shout out Nicole, our friend Nicole. What's up, Nicole?
And shout out Nicole shouting out the hardcore laced rip.
Yeah,
on Tough Guy Mentality on Am I Punk Yet?
So Nicole reviewed Randy Thunderbird's How to Talk to Kids About Robots album in 2010 and said, young, gruff vocals barely take the time to breathe as they lead a hardcore laced rip on its tough guy mentality on Am I Punk Yet? the lyrical substance is obvious and plentiful. So maybe the lyrics of this song are about like, you know, hardcore being all like macho or whatever.
Yeah, turns out Randy Thunderbird on the right side of history there. In 2010, when people were not talking about the toxic masculinity at the heart of fest punk and I guess all punk and just everything.
What were people talking about in 2010 though? I can't figure it out. Like I feel like that was still pretty recent.
What was like the issue in 2010, you know?
COVID-19? No.
Yeah, I think so. We were all deeply concerned about COVID. I'm going to look up news of 2010, but I do want to ask, because it sounds like we're gearing up to go into covers, is like, do you identify, Josiah, because ultimately this song, whether it's Fertile Effort or Electro Hippies, is asking, are you punk yet? Have you ever thought to yourself, yes, I am punk now?
No. And I think that's, you know, I was thinking about that question, and I think that I've never really identified myself as that. I think, first of all, because it's weird to just like put yourself, it's like giving yourself a nickname. I think that's already a pretty weird thing to do. But also, I wonder if I don't because I'm too much of a wuss to actually do it. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of, maybe I just don't want to have to live up to that, so I don't do it. But that's also the chase of that is what I'm fascinated by and endlessly interested in. Even though things like punk TikTok make me feel like vomiting, I don't know. I'm hesitant to say that, but I'm also like, I don't know. What about you?
Oh, yeah, for sure. You know that I have. I'm sure you could pull up 100 tweets where I'm like, as a punk speaking, you know, as a punk, and then some sort of opinion. Like 100%, like from grade 8 till today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, I don't know what's the more honest way to be, but I think we're both just doing our damn best over here.
Doing our best to be punk. And in 2010, we know that punks were doing their best to speak out against Russia winning the 2018 World Cup hosting sweepstakes.
2018?
Yeah, because that's how early they award them. That makes sense. So in 2010, we were like, oh, Russia. So same as it ever was. The Chilean miners being trapped underground for 68 days. So that was probably what punks were talking about.
That's different than the Elon Musk when he called someone a pedophile, right? That was different.
Yeah. This was the OG miners. Yeah. So there was a suspicious package on a flight from Yemen. Of course, we all remember that. Damn. And those are the things the punks talked about back then.
So they were all too distracted. Thank God Randy Thunderbird was around to say that. You know, hardcore seems a little aggressive and macho.
You guys notice the thing about hardcore? It's kind of fucked up, actually.
Okay, let's hear what Chris has to say.
I'm not punk yet!
Welcome back to the show, the official D-Beatsman of the pod. It's Chris, a.k.a. Chris Charge. What's up, Chris?
Not much.
So this week's song, I didn't keep up the other week I asked you to recommend a peace punk song to me, and you did, and I just like seamlessly dropped it into the conversation and seemed so cool. This week I didn't do that. I just admitted that you told us to do this song and that we listened to it. Why did you think this would be such a good song for the pod?
Well, it was the first song that popped into my head when you said that you were going to do songs with punk in the title. And then when I thought about it a bit more, I thought that the lyrics would be pretty perfect for the pod because you're always trying to figure out what punk is. Yeah. And I feel like that would have given you and Sam a lot to talk about.
I mean, it did. As anyone who's made it to this part knows, it really did. It was lyrically, it was perfect, but also musically, like there's something about this song that, and I think this is something we've just talked about, Sam and I, for a while, but you know, with like crust music and stuff, it's easy to think of it as being, I don't know, maybe serious is the wrong word, but it's like this song is so fun, and I would even dare say it sounds kind of joyous.
Most lyrics in crust music is more serious, but you have your bands that are a little more fun too. Like one of their records is called "The Only Good Punk Is a Dead One," so I think they have a lot of themes that are like kind of joking around about punk being stupid.
Right.
Even though they're in the punk scene.
Like I also mean just like musically, like the sound of it is so like it's like celebratory or something. musically.
Yeah, it's like fun, but also like assaulting.
Yeah,
sounding.
yeah, exactly. But like not in a scary way. It's like an assault that I enjoy. I want more of that.
Yeah, it's probably because they keep saying, "Am I punk yet?" And that's like kind of a silly thing to be yelling constantly over and over again.
So yeah, it's kind of proto grindcore. Like, tell me about the legacy of this band in terms of like, are they kind of obscure, or are they a band that's kind of like people point back to as an influence?
I don't hear many people talk about them. I know that they were pretty small and short-lived, at least when they were active, because they were like mid to late 80s in the UK, and they would have like started, because like a lot of crust bands at that time came from like the anarcho scene and like influenced by like Discharge or like metal riffs and stuff, and like crust was kind of invented. You definitely hear more about Amoebics and Anti-Sect and Doom and Deviated Instinct and bands like that. Like, you don't really hear too many people talking about Electro Hippies. So I don't think they were super huge, at least at the time, but they fit right in with that. I mean, they sang a lot about animal rights and like political topics, and they looked the part, that's for sure.
Yeah.
They had a lot of songs about like anti-McDonald's, but yeah, they definitely were lesser known of that genre at that time.
What's with the band name is like, because there is elements of the art and, you know, there's tongue-in-cheek lyrics that made me think maybe the band name was like a joke, but the more you talk about their sort of ecological activism and stuff, maybe they really are just like electrified hippies.
That's how I've always taken it. Like, I mean, anarcho and hippies definitely share a lot of the same views, whether people want to admit it or not. But there's definitely a lot of similarities, and they do sing about those topics, and they have like happy faces in their logos and flower drawings and stuff like that. So I think it's literally, like you said, they're just electric hippies.
So good.
And they kind of look like punk hippies too. So
yeah. I mean, the look.
That's how I've taken it. Like, I haven't read really anything about this band. I just know about them from seeing photos and listening to them.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, the aesthetic, we were just like listening to different like demo and rehearsal recordings of the song, and the aesthetic even of all their record layout and everything looks exactly like pretty much every modern punk tape that I've seen. Like, the aesthetic is so influential, it seems.
Yeah, their aesthetic's really sick. But that's like, I think that's pretty common with a lot of those early crust bands, is they have like a really sick aesthetic for sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure you covered this on the episode, but how one of the members also went on to be in Carcass.
Yeah, we did. We covered that a bit, and there's a funny Sam story involving the guy from Carcass. So I don't want to repeat it for them.
Wait to hear that.
I don't want to repeat it for the listener. I don't want to spoil it for you. So that's kind of some sort of Inception teaser. So tell me about what do you think what do you think of the lyrics first off? Second off, are they like, do you think they're dissing Crass and the Exploited and GBH, or are they just kind of goofing around?
I think they're goofing around. Let me just get the lyrics quickly. I should have thought to do that.
No worries. I assumed that you would just have them memorized because you're so punk, you know?
You can't keep all that knowledge in your head, you know? Yeah, I mean, if you look at them, like, they're pretty like crust punk looking, so I don't think it's like completely serious. I think it's a little like tongue in cheek and kind of poking at themselves as well as others, I would imagine.
Yeah.
But I mean, they definitely would have been into bands like, at least Crass for sure. GBH, I would imagine. Exploited. I mean, if they're putting them together with Crass and GBH, I would assume, even though I don't know, I think there's a little difference between Exploited and the other two. But
well, I was remembering at Christmas time, Crass was dissing the Exploited with their Christmas record.
Yeah.
So I was just assuming there was a little bit of animosity there, maybe.
There's a little bit of a divide, I'd imagine, between those two bands.
So if people like this song, where should they go next with Electro Hippies?
Well, if you like the grind, I don't know a lot about grindcore, but I definitely understand how Electro Hippies were one of the first bands to kind of play on that. If you like that angle, definitely Sore Throat is fucking sick, and they have a lot of like really quick songs with blast beats and stuff, but then they also have songs that are more crust. They're one of my favorites. I would definitely say Sore Throat. Also, Doom would be good. Amoebics, Extreme Noise Terror, Deviated Instinct. Those are
just getting
that's a
you,
good starting place, I think.
I'm just getting you to list off crust bands so that we have some extra cred this week.
You want me to keep going?
No, because you could. I know that it'll go for an hour if you start. But I accidentally gave away my final question, but I wanted to ask you about the band Exit Hippies, because I feel like, and you showed me them, Chris sent me an amazing like crust playlist that I need to revisit. It's like 7 days straight worth of crust to listen to. But I loved Exit Hippies, and it kind of seems like they're playing with the aesthetic of Electro Hippies a little bit. Like, is that safe to say? Tell me about Exit Hippies.
Exit Hippies is a Japanese band. They have what essentially would have been the split with Lotus Fucker, with Elmo on the front, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So that's a take on a Sore Throat cover. With on the Sore Throat cover, instead of Elmo, it's a drawing of Sid Vicious, which is pretty funny. But they're just another, like, their releases seem pretty different. Like I don't know their entire catalog very well, because it doesn't all sound like The Split. The Split's definitely my favorite and like the craziest. But I don't know, they have like weird kind of almost dance electronic influence on like really heavy distorted crust. I don't know if that's probably where they got the influence from. Their name probably would have been from Electro Hippies. I don't know much of their history, to be completely honest. Yeah. And I think before Crass, I think their band was called Exit, if I'm not mistaken. I'd have to look into that, but I don't know. Maybe that was what popped into my mind, is maybe the influence coming from like Electro Hippies and Crass's old. It was like a jam band or something where like anyone could just come up on stage and take any instrument and just start playing along. I'm sure it sounded fucking terrible.
That rules. Okay. Well, that's my recommendation via Chris, is to also check out Exit Hippies.
The song called Load specifically is their like coolest song in my opinion.
Oh, they rule. Okay. So I guess I don't want to, again, we're kind of in this weird inception. I don't want to spoil too much, but you do have your first cover for the 155 era of the pod this week. Can you tell us maybe just something brief about your cover this week?
Well, Lindsay has been wanting to contribute something for a while, but because of COVID, like none of our bands have done anything in over a year. We lost our jam space, so like we don't really have our gear set up anywhere right now. But we really wanted to do something, and I've been wanting to do something with Blair for a while. They're just like an incredible musician. If you don't know Doggo, you should check that band out for sure. They're also in Spacers. So I just had the idea to just bang on with my daughter when she's eating dinner. A lot of the times we just bang on the tables together. So that kind of gave me the idea to just do drumming by hitting the kitchen table. So I recorded that just through my phone. Lindsay sang over it, and then our daughter Rain, you can hear her just talking and yelling in the background. And
we'll find out if it's good or not in a little bit. But Gullet is the band, right?
Yeah, it's Gullet. So Blair added a ukulele with 3 distortion pedals over top of it, so it's pretty insane.
Sounds like it might not be good, but we'll see, folks, in a bit.
You wouldn't think it would be.
So maybe I don't want to spoil it, so I'm going to pretend that I don't know if it's...
that's true, because people haven't heard it yet. All right.
Exactly. Okay, before you go, what else should people check out? I know you have like an art store that people can go to. What do you want to plug?
My bands aren't doing anything. We haven't done anything in a long time, but those are Wanko, Snara, No War, and
Booger
Dark
Snot.
Circles.
And Booger Snot.
And of course, Booger Snot. You don't say our band name properly, but Booger Snot. What else? Yeah, my store. I sell just my art on shirts and prints. That's soremine.com. That's pretty much it right now.
Sick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for the suggestion this week. It was perfect.
I'm glad you guys liked it, and thank you for having me.
Am I punk yet?
Hey, Sam, before we get into covers, I feel like there was something you wanted to say.
Yeah, just real quick. All these covers come from our Patreon gatekeepers, and they were all made in less than 96 hours. For $5 a month, you get early access to next week's song, plus you get the episode on Thursday night. Or Wednesday night? I guess Wednesday night / Thursday morning. Because if you're not giving us money, we're putting out the episodes on Monday. You also get bonus episodes. This week we talked about Punk TikTok with friend of the pod, Georgia. You get a newsletter and access to Discord, and all of these songs will be available in full on the 155 Bandcamp on Monday. And if you're not giving us money, that's today for you now. They're available today. But if you're listening to it on Wednesday night / Thursday morning, that's Monday in a few days. I have to rewrite the intro.
I could listen to this forever. Oh my god!
I'm just having a great time.
That's so good.
Every time we do a thing where we're kind of making fun of a way of doing radio or another way of doing podcasting, it always feels fucking awesome. But just play vibes and do the exact same show that we just did.
Just play vibes and vibe, you know?
Yeah, man. Do you think that there's a really active, I'm going to check out the subreddit for vibraphone, because there's no way that those percussion section freaks aren't just vibing with the vibes.
Or do you think that they're pissed about the way that it's overused in for this exact kind of thing? It's become ad music, and that's so disrespectful to the genre.
Oh, it's true.
Well, speaking of, let's get into covers. And the covers, as you said, are submitted by the listeners. This first one, I'm glad that you've got your vocal cords warmed up, because the submitter has asked that maybe you could read this in a sales pitch voice.
No problem. Hold on, I'm just downloading some vibraphone memes right now. Just to be ready to go. But yeah, I can do this. I can multitap.
So this is from West Ed Mulvays, and it's called "Am I a Plimsoll Punk?" Yeah, I'm very excited for this to be always punk, always Electro Hippies crossover at last. But let's get Sam to read in the sales pitch voice.
Just as a question, because when I think of sales pitch voice, I think of say my own voice when I'm pitching something.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much when you. To me, sales pitch voice is kind of the opposite of how you've been talking. It's the way you usually talk at the start of the episode. When you say welcome and it's in the red, I think that's what it should be.
Okay. Yeah. So a little bit of it. It's a pitch. I feel like it's more of an exaggerated old-timey radio tone, but yeah. It's collab season in Edmonton, baby. Long Bean's Mouth Sore and Dottie Be Good have teamed up to answer the question, am I punk yet? With a resounding maybe. Love y'all.
Exploited records at home. Glass posters cover my wall. Leather jacket, it's spiky hair. Or should I have mohawk there? GHW are comfortable. They said my talk sunset, but
I'm doing the biggest, most earnest smile. It's not even a grin. I'm just beaming over here from that.
I'm just my mouth is fucking agape. I am earnestly agape. Holy shit.
It makes me so, I'm not going to lie. I'm excited for next week because it's going to be hell on earth. But realizing that we could have done always Plimsoll Punks is very upsetting as a missed opportunity for Punk Month. But
you were talking in Discord about, maybe because I don't think it was on the pod. I feel like it was literally on Discord where you were Sarah's in the other room listening to Always, and it's so good, I'm mad about it. Like, you were just jealous that that's what she was doing at the time and you were working. Is like, and that sent me off on I never think to listen to Always. And for the last week and a half, I have also been listening to Always. That was, and we also said before this started, when we were getting ready to record, we were like, I wonder how shitposty the covers are going to be, just because it's a tricky one maybe to cover in the style of Always, for example. So now I'm like, what are we about to get into? It's a very interesting way to frame this section.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Todd Killings, Am I Punk Yet? Let's go. Just beautiful.
This is incredible.
Todd Killings, they say tone is in the fingers, and Todd Killings just proves it every time. He strums that. The guitar
oh my
sounds
God.
So good.
Oh, so I'm very interested in what journey are we about to go on here? This is a very, very strong way to open things up, these last two.
It's very sick. Okay, up next is the Golden Umbrella Stains. I got to see my family for the first time in 2 years this past week. Hell yeah. I had to fly home Sunday evening, though, so the music was on the plane back and the vocals recorded when I arrived home. Sick. We're starting at the 15-second mark. It's working for me.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
It's just a real pleasant
This
little
is a nice little
in the background.
Nice little synth ditty going on. What more do you need?
I cannot believe how nice this is so far. What a nice time we're having.
Well, Sam, I've got some bad news for you. I think things have just gotten very grindcore-y very quickly. This is Electro Hippies with Am I Puking Up the New Kidney Yet? That was just a perfect Locust impression albeit of the era of the Locust where I was already too cool for them. I thought they were sellouts when they sounded like that.
Wait, were the Locust credible and then the Locust sold out? Is that the trajectory?
No, just in my own brain. Because I think they signed to Epitaph and everyone was mad at them for signing to Epitaph. And and admittedly, though, here's the thing about being a gatekeeper is that it is true that the first records are always better for every band. That's just, you can't really argue with that almost ever, especially with punk stuff. So I still think the Locust record that is just self-titled, that has the people running away from the giant locust, that's the best Locust shit, not the...
Well, I got to say, my favorite Locust is a Locustro, I don't know how to pronounce that, a Locustro Hippies. That's my favorite Locust record.
Well, the next one is called Punk and Metal Are Basically the Same Thing, Tex. Am I Punk Yet? First time doing vocals. Because DIY, BB, hell yeah.
That's right. Tribute to some Crustpunk bands doing it DIY.
This is cool. This seems like a sketch from Mystery Science Theater.
I feel like I'm listening to one of the like in the computer sequences in Lawnmower Man.
Cover my wall. GDH, gods of all. Lace up my knocks, and I'm all set. Can you please tell me? Am I funky?
Ooh, I'm unsettled.
It didn't end. I was hoping it would end with "No, you're not," or I don't even remember
No,
what
you're
this is. Is it "No, you're not," or "Of course you're not"?
I mean, listen, we're not punk enough to remember how the song ends. So.
It's true. Neither is apparently Shawn Mendes' lawyer's best friend because he's written 0% punk for his song Major Punk debut, Fast. Nice. Is that a banjo I'm hearing in there?
I don't know. I feel like I'm at the Roadhouse, though. Throwing beer bottles through a cage.
I mean, it's proving that these are fantastic lyrics because it fits with everything.
Totally. Now I do just want to be at a bar with chicken wire. Is that a real thing? Like, do real bars have chicken wire around the honky tonk band?
I think so because my friend Bruce, who I've talked about before, I don't know if he's been mentioned on the new one. He toured as the drummer of this band called the Temper Tantrums, who were otherwise an all-girl Christian pop-punk band. And this was in like the late 90s or early 2000s. So they were that's the kind of thing the kind of band that would want to have people throwing beer at them. And I remember him telling me he played at a place where there was, I think, either that or like a plexiglass or something to protect them from all the stuff being thrown at the stage.
Well, that's funny. But plexiglass and chicken wire, I feel like, are very different. It speaks to a very different experience, you know?
It's true. Okay, up next is The Hoodoos, Am I Punk Yet, i.e. Super Punker Syndrome. The Hoodoos are Rox Howe and Holly from the song. It's collab season. All right, let's go.
So young and I'm so beautiful. I'm gonna be a super punker. It's too late to save me. You're too late. And I'll write my school report about how I love the jeans.
What did that sound like? What was that?
I don't know.
To me, it kind of seemed like it could be like a bridge in a Polyphonic Spree song, where it's like just like super vibey, and then all of a sudden, like 100 indie people start screaming in your ear.
Totally. I just can't believe. I just thought it'd be like nothing but noise covers, you know?
I know, yeah, but they're too sensy. Everyone's too got their hearts too full of pod love to be that wild. Okay,
and I feel like everyone's working through their own punkness in decidedly non-punk terms.
Well, this one's interesting. This is preschool science Miles. Who claims to be, maybe this is true. Oh, wow. Yeah. So this is Poli-Sci Alex's son. Hi, my name is Miles. My dad is Poli-Sci Alex, but he did not perform this cover other than speaking one line. All he did was mix it for me. I just want to be a punk. Thanks to Buttermuffin for the art. So this is interesting because it seems like the name is a riff on Pre-Miles, but it's preschool science Miles. So maybe that's just a happy coincidence. But here's Miles. Let's go.
Is that am I punk yet?
No, not yet.
God damn it! This is so fucked up! Oh, I want to be a fucking punk.
Beautiful.
That was
the children
beautiful.
are our future. The children are the future.
I mean, Miles, you're probably not going to get this reference, but I do think you are good enough already to be in Sonic Youth. So that's already a good start, you know?
It's true. Yeah, that is definitely like every time I'm like, oh, maybe this is the year that I get really into goo, which is in and of itself, I guess, a baby's word.
Yeah.
It does still kind of sound like that to me.
It's because that's what it sounds like. You're not wrong. Okay, up next, speaking of chill, look at this pod magic. We had Polysylix's son. Up next, we got a little baby boy. I love that Baby Tyler's going to come out of this as like a hip hop producer. Like his beats are getting
yeah, totally.
Gets a little cheeky.
Holy shit. I feel like this is like really bringing out the best in people.
It is. I think
because the lyrics are like simple and fun. I guess everyone probably had the same experience as us, but they're like, yo, this song is fun, and you can like tell that everyone's having a lot of fun covering it. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's sick. I liked it a lot. That was very sick, Baby Tyler. And up next, this is huge. This is like, what's a huge collaboration from history that I can relate this to? This is like Jay-Z and Linkin Park, basically, to me. This is Shoes Rob.
Oh wow!
Excuse
yeah,
me,
this truly is the hybrid theory in action.
Shoes Robinson and Sparkling Water. The notes say transcribe riffs from song, remove stanky notes, play very slowly as chords. Ooh, this is going to be deliciously pretentious. I think. Let's go.
I've started my coat and dyed my hair. Took away my mind, put in a sign there. Leather jacket and spiky hair. If it's all too much, just take my hand. Take my
I got completely lost and I almost kept playing it for the whole 5 minutes. That is just unbelievable.
Like truly unreal.
The depth of
that is as good as hybrid theory.
The depth of the production alone was ridiculous, and then the concept and just where it's probably going to go. Damn.
Yeah. I'm really excited to listen to this full compilation.
And they're both
really, really excited.
And both of them are basically our employees too. So that's basically our cover that we just
listened to. And look, this is your annual review. Killing the game.
Would like to know what your goals are though for the future.
Yeah,
kind of how you plan to implement them. But okay, up next, Gullet. I'm so excited about this one. Gullet is Chris, who we just heard from earlier on the episode. Lindsay, Blair, and another child, Rain, 9-month-old Rain, yelling throughout. So Blair is playing a uke through 3 distortion pedals. Chris is pounding on the kitchen table with hands and also playing bass. And Lindsay's doing vocals. This is called Am I Punk Yeet. And they say Gullet makes no excuses for their noise output. Start it wherever the fuck you want. All right, I'll start at the start.
Yo,
Holy shit.
that was really fucking good.
My mouth was agape the whole time as well.
I've been gaping over here, man. I'm gaped. My gullet is gaping.
I was hanging out in Chris and Lindsay's backyard when they were talking about planning this cover with Blair, and it's funny idea to be playing drums on the table and putting a uke through distortion pedals, all that kind of stuff, but it sounds perfect. It sounds so sick. I want to hear.
It's outrageous.
I want to hear a one-sided 12-inch of that with the etching on the other side. That's that was sick as hell. Damn, I hope we hear more from Gullet in the future.
Yeah, I would like more Gullet. I would like Gullet to become a consistent contributor.
Lindsay's vocals too. Oh my god, it was perfect.
Yeah, that was cool.
Amazing.
And the 9-month-old yelling throughout gives it a certain energy.
It really does, because that's when you're a developing child. That is a valid question too, as we learned from preschool Miles earlier. Am I punk yet? It really has different meaning when you don't even know who you are yet as a child. Up next, I'll see you later with And Now a Word from My Grandmother.
Am I a punk now?
I have no idea.
Yeah,
that was good.
Perfect execution. Absolutely perfect. I loved it. Brevity, truly the soul of wit.
I love that we went from a 9-month-old to a grandmother in record time. It's really
all are welcome.
It's just a swirling black hole this week. Okay, Diana Spouse, Am I Punk Yet?
I've studded my coat and dyed my hair, took away my mind, put an A sign there, leather jacket and spiky hair, or should I have a mohawk there? Exploited records, got them all, crass posters cover my wall, GBH are gods of all, I lace up my docs and I'm all set. Am I punk yet?
I got actual chills. It's so beautiful.
It's incredible. What are people tapping into here? That was legitimately fucking gorgeous.
It was so beautiful and so kind of raw. It tapped into kind of the insecurity of not knowing if you are or aren't. It's beautiful.
Exactly. I was like, oh damn, I've felt that way before. I mean, not lately,
right?
But before in my softer years.
All right. Rockers DJN, Am I Punk Yet? Rockers DJN are back, MFs, LFG. It probably would sound better if I said the words, but you know what? I'm just doing the letters. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's so
what the fuck?
It's so sick. So
LFG,
sick.
MFs.
TJN. That was so sick.
It was cool to hear just that energy.
Yeah. But right after the heartfelt kind of bog introspection beforehand, where you're hearing the crickets and stuff. It's perfect.
Bog based, yeah. All vibes welcome. All of the, and you know what's crazy? They're all punk.
They are, or none of them are, because they're on a podcast. Teen President, Am I
Punk? It's a podcast about punk, Josiah. Come on.
Yeah, about. But can you be the thing that you are about, or does that remove the objective? We wouldn't be able to comment on it if we were it. I don't think. Maybe not. Teen President, Am I Punk Yet? Bedbugs and cider mix. Slam my head into an air duct during this. Sorry for cursing. Knowing who this is, I'm just going to turn it down a little bit. It's probably going to be real loud. Am I Punk Yet? Am I Punk? Am I Punk Wow. Fuck.
And that's authentic. That's an authentic cuss.
That's an authentic air duct slam that you just heard. That was
Damn,
perfect.
I'm disturbed by the Bedbugs Insider piece, though.
Yeah, I know. Hopefully don't run into Teen President too soon until they're...
Yeah, I'd like to ensure that Teen President is not welcome at my house.
All right. Day BS, I guess. Something a little different for the covers. For the covers formerly known as Old Bobby, Jimmy John, Abe, Brainstorm, Hamstring, who, again, every time they've submitted, we've missed the reference in their band name. But I get it this week, I think.
I get it this week because this time it's
DBS.
It's pretty clear, yeah.
Finally, my own artist name also, they say. So maybe this one isn't a reference to DBS. Maybe we're just...
we're just like seeing meaning where there is none.
So here's Punks Are Hippies from Day BS. Wow.
This is fucking insane.
This is so cool.
How is this good? How are they all this good?
That's so cool, that like fucked up edit happening. It's
so
cool. Like this is just... Damn. This episode needs to be pressed to vinyl or something. This is a classic.
I just like... Yeah. I feel like this is the most interesting collection of covers yet.
It's definitely like I'm excited with each one, especially seeing this name popping up again, 20th Century, and this is 20th Century featuring Mom and Dad. Am I punk yet?
Hello.
Hey, Mom.
Hi.
Hi, Mom. Am I punk yet?
Pardon?
Am I punk yet?
I don't know what you're saying.
I've studied my code and dyed my hair. Took away my mind and put an A sign there.
This is unbelievable.
Am I punk yet?
This is ridiculous.
This is insane.
We have to
It
stop
shouldn't
it.
be legal. None of these covers should be legal. Nothing here is street legal.
It's not
for sure.
fair. Like, or it's not like I just can't. I feel like every time we do this, I feel like we've uncovered gold that is going to remain a secret because people are definitely not going to be paying attention to the Electro Hippies episode of 155. There's no way that like the people who write about things and make more people hear about it and start that snowball effect are going to come in for this episode, but that's the
maybe it's this episode. We got to do this. Listen,
but that's,
okay. So all podcasting jokes aside, if you've thought about telling someone about this show, maybe tell them about this episode.
That's true. Okay, that's valid. But also, if not, that's what makes it even better because it's our secret, and that's why it rules.
True.
So either way, we're the lucky ones.
By the way, people do listen to this show. I mean, I just want people to know this.
Yeah, like, they do.
Just want to fucking clear, but in our opinion, like you get this far into the covers and you're like, well, not fucking enough. You know?
It's like I think someone should be like signing all of you or something.
Yeah, no, legitimately. I think that there should be in the same way that, you know, we're talking about with punk gatekeeping, like, oh, you know, this basement show that like everyone has to remember and talk about and it becomes Broken Telephone is like, when inevitably bands from this scene start breaking, you know, when the 155 cover section becomes the next Seattle,
yeah,
you know, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
It feels like it will, and that's great. And I hope that Sam and I do something very dramatic when we stab each other in the back one day. I'm looking forward to it. The doc is going to be so good.
That, like, yeah, our fall from grace and our separation or whatever is like, it's not going to be chill.
And I'm planning on when the documentary comes out in like 35 years, I want to look like the guy who was fired from Pixar for being sketchy, the boss guy. He kind of like wears like really, really round glasses and Hawaiian t-shirts all the time. Kind of like a more scary looking Adam McKay, but with like Hawaiian shirts. And I think I want to be doing my interviews from like inside of like in a jungle or something. I just want to be like seem really fucked up. Like just maybe I'll wear a pirate patch or something. Maybe I'm trying to become the guy from Twin Peaks who does the web series, sort of the Alex Jones type guy. But yeah, I'm excited.
Sick, yeah.
And also, Dave Grohl's not welcome in the documentary. I'm just going to say that right now.
Oh, well, good luck getting a documentary made, but I guess it's possible. Yeah, I guess like when they cast off into the future, maybe I want to be like, just in a like really nondescript like board, like where there's like a lot of glass behind me, and I want to be like
where you can't tell if the background is actually your office or if it's green screened an office that looks so real that it looks fake. Like that.
Yeah, but it's like so generic. Like so you're just like, or like they just rented an office space, like it's like an Airbnb for the day or something. So there's like that, and then I want to be like sort of so like skinny, where initially you're like, like. It kind of looks the same, and then like after I've been talking for like 60 seconds, you're like something's wrong, like they're like this is like I'm worried about.
You become like a Steve Jobs type guy who only eats apples or whatever.
Yeah, like you can just see something in my eyes where you're like, oh, this person is not actually healthy.
You look like Jack from Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I've mistaken sort of like I've gone down some path that I assume is health, but it's just like I'm just ingesting poison every day.
So that's what we can look forward to. But for now, let's get through the cover section. Up next is the So-Sos. Am I punk yet? It says, "Tell me honestly, I can handle it." I assume that means if whether or not you're punk and not if this is good or not. But either way, we'll be honest.
Is that Orville Peck?
No, please, for the love of God, that is so much. That is.
Oh, you know what I'm realizing? Sorry, that's like a throwback to. That was an attempt. I don't really think that sounds like Orville Peck.
Yeah, it was a throwback.
But that was a callback to a Sclusy joke that you and Georgia made hours ago.
But no, I mean, if you didn't get that joke, it's because you haven't. Oh, that's because it's the next Monday or whatever.
Sorry, yeah, that's right. It's part of the 155 cinematic universe.
Exactly.
So that's fine. But no, sorry. Like, you're right. Devoid of that context, maybe that sounded like. I mean, people do fucking love Orville Peck. So, like, come on.
That was incredible. That sounded very like beyond time and place and context. Like I feel like we've just this week. I feel like we're listening to like I don't know. Like a compilation, a Light in the Attic compilation.
Like totally,
rarities or something. Like everything just feels so strange and fascinating and cool. It fucking rocks.
It has that feeling of like you're just like, what gem will I uncover next, and how have I not heard these songs, ever?
Exactly. Well, the next gem is by Wood Chips, and it's called "Am I Pop Punk Yet?" Let's go. Wood Chip says it's in the triple digits where I live, so I wanted to write the song of the summer
Ooh.
I believe this could be the song of the summer.
Oh yeah, the beginning like kind of sounded like the doo 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 Wendy Clear riff.
Oh yeah. Put a blink sign. Wood Chips, we need you to drop the lyrics in the Discord because it seems to be really good so far.
I would like to know. I think that this is to me an early contender for song of the summer.
Absolutely, yeah.
This is the John Mayer song.
Yeah, I mean, the Eve 6 guy loves John Mayer too, so.
Oh, God.
Ern asked them and their flowers, Cherry Blossom, Lauren Gladiolas, and Black Zinnia, are they punk yet? Did a bit of a survey this week by asking some friends if I am now or have ever been punk. The net answer is maybe. Listen on Monday for the full results. So we're going to start at the 23-second mark. That's interesting. Was this a thing in Discord that I missed where everyone decided to ask other people if they were punk or not? Or is this just organically something that happened? Either way, I'm loving this kind of documentarian feel this week.
Yeah, totally. Werner Herzog in the mix.
Like Patrick Stickles and TA, destroyed everything that wouldn't make me more like Springsteen. What do I have left? Vices, sleepless nights, piss-soaked jeans. Am I punk yet? Am I punk?
Have you ever been punk? I don't know what the fuck it means to be punk. I feel like all the times maybe in the moment that you thought you were punk, or someone might say you looked the most punk, have just about zero overlap when the times you actually have been punk. When you've done things for yourself and not for the validation of someone else. I don't know. I think about you accepting being open to new people and getting sober and driving hundreds of miles at the drop of the hat just because you like driving. I don't know. That seems way more punk to me than anything else you've done.
Holy shit, this is incredible.
This is fucking awesome.
We need to get like this. That felt like I was in an art gallery and it was like there was projections that were like loosely related. I was just picturing like sort of Super 8 or something.
It also like really felt like something from a Godspeed album.
Yeah.
You know, or like some art album where I'd be like, damn, I'm too dumb to listen to this. Yeah.
I think that's the longest one this week, and I've noticed on Discord lately whatever's the longest one, when it's usually an instrumental and people do readings over it when they listen to it because the community just keeps going when we're not around too. But I feel like what they should do this week is listen. If this one's all text, then create like some sort of post-rock instrumentals under it and go that way. Not to tell you how to do your weird Discord jam session that you're doing, but, you know, just a thought.
Listen, no one's telling anybody how to do their weird Discord jam sessions, but like the way, even just like the distortion on that, like it was
very
warm and unsettling.
Yeah, it was very affecting. Okay, the Polyplodes, the punk is time. Cover of Electro Hippies, Am I Punk Yet? A collaboration between Polysilex and Fake Plodes Guy. As soon as I, Alex, read the lyrics of the song, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. Luckily, I was able to enlist the help of the Fake Plodes Guy, who absolutely crushed it on the vocal melody, bass, and soprano. All vocals are sung by us. Thanks to Buttermuffin for supplying the artwork, and I hope Sam likes the harms. Let's go.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, I do. Billy Joel is the punkest.
And put flowers in my hair. Took my mind and put an A sign there. A leather jacket and lots of spiky hair. Oh, should I have put a mohawk there? Oh, am I punk yet? Oh,
There's something.
Oh my God!
There's something also very unsettling about something in there. I can't put my finger on it. Like just maybe that everything's not perfect pitch, but almost perfect. It gives it this kind of like.
And I think there's like a variable speed thing happening too.
Yeah, it's very Lynchian in a great way. Like I love it. It's so good. Like
that did feel very Lynchy, where it's like accessible pop, but like the whole thing is making you super uneasy. People over Lynchian things, but yeah, completely.
That was the right amount of Lynchian for sure. And congrats to Poli-Sci Alex and Preschool Miles. Like father, like son, both killed it this week. Very good. Okay, up next is Wound Season. Oh my God, look at this art.
What?
Longtime listener, first-time contributor. Love the pod, love the Naish. Sam mentioned a certain metallic hardcore band in a recent app, and I've been on a big kick ever since. I hope you all enjoyed the fruits of yet another offhanded pod remark. Also, I haven't actually finished a recording in forever, so big thanks to you two and the unreasonably talented Nation for inspiring me to see this through to completion. I'm not going to reveal what it is yet, but the art is incredible. So here's Wound Season with Am I Punk Yet?
Oh man.
Holy shit. Do you think Kurt Ballow has actually listened to the pod and that's who this is?
Yeah, for sure. Kurt Ballow is the Armed and also is in the name. Oh my God.
Like who's doing this perfect Converge impression? What the hell?
Like a legitimately great hardcore song. That
was way too good. Shout out Wound Season. Please contribute more. I beg of you.
Yeah.
And so the artwork is like it's Jane Doe but with Sammy on it, and it's like looks like this should be the new shirt that every like tattoo guy has.
But wait, it's Jane Doe with me and with elements from the Electro Hippies artwork, sort of.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay. I didn't even notice that.
It is
wow.
Incredible. Like that photo is the greatest honor that has been done to me, I think, yet in the pod. That was fucking awesome.
Wow. Okay, up next is Dr. Bugman 30. This is just a great week, an all-timer for the books.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, Dr. Bugman 31. I'm genuinely getting moved by this. It's so good. That was that was awe-inducing. What that sounded like. It was just like heavenly.
Yeah, I feel like I've been induced for sure. I just like it. Yeah, that was gorgeous. That was insane. I mean, I'm just kind of amazed by the breadth.
Yeah,
so far.
Exactly. Okay, up next is Concrete Beach with Am I New Order Yet? He writes, does this sound like New Order? I think so, but you can be the judge. All right? Judge I will. Yes, it does.
Yep.
sounds like New Order, but it also sounds so much better than New Order because it sounds like a DIY New Order. Like
it sounds like a transition period, you know, where you get like kind of like still the austerity of Joy Division, but like, you know, the pop is like fully creeping in there.
Yeah,
that was very cool, like ceremony vibe, you know.
It sounded like a concrete beach, honestly. So perfect name for that music.
Apt as hell. That was so funny. Does this sound like New Order? And then it's literally like, bloom, doom, like from 2 seconds, and you're like, yeah, you nailed it. It's fine. Oh, I'm interested in this. Good references, and I'm getting them all this week.
This is Jaw Bilver. 1, 2, 3, 4. Am I punk yet? No, of course. Bill. When Bill's in the pun name, usually that means it's Bill from Silverstein, who has written, as speculated with last week's cover. I recorded this in the office of a professional recording studio on my band's watch. I had our producer Sam cook up some programmed drums, but recorded everything else on my own using only my laptop and a 2-channel interface. I managed to fit in all the Electro Hippies lyrics into the first half of the song, so I just decided to ad-lib my own pod-centric second verse. So we're starting at the 44-second mark. Maybe this is the pod-centric verse. I'm not really sure.
2, 3, 4, am I punk yet? No. I'm not punk, and you're telling everyone. Save your breath, I never was one. You don't know what I'm all about. Defunding cops and listening to Bivouac. The gatekeepers are all too familiar. They're the ones who used to like my band. I'm subscribing outside your Patreon. I was passing out when you were talking Blink 182. 155 pod, who's punk? Join Discord.
Oh my god.
I mean, first of all, obviously fucking great. Second of all, I'm so in love with just like thinking about how 90% of recording is like fucking off while someone tries to like get the snare sound right for like half a day or whatever. And like just knowing that like this is someone who's in like a real ass band, and this is what they're doing with time in a professional recording studio, and it's like it just makes me so nostalgic for sitting around and playing video games in a studio.
Yeah, so sick. That was perfect.
That was awesome.
That was the only. Now officially, I like a Jawbreaker song, and it's the Jaw Bilver version. Okay, Teen Jazz, Am I Punk Yet? And it's the punk version of it. For this cover, For this cover, I used the idea of memories to create nostalgia. I think it sounds a lot better now that it's a punk song. I'm pretty sure that's a reference to that. 2 weeks ago, the Sclusy, where we watched those kids break down their Sandy Tom video for class, where they're talking about.
And here we show them looking off in the distance, signifying looking off in the distance. Like just patting it so badly.
So good.
Red shows that they are horny.
Cool. Okay, this is gonna work.
Okay.
This is gonna work for sure.
Am I punk yet? Am I punk? Am I punk yet? Am I punk? Am I punk?
I'm so happy knowing that Teen Jazz thought of this like at like 3 in the morning or something. Yeah. It was like, oh, it's gonna work.
I don't let other people tell me what to do and tell me how to live my life. I live my best life for me. That's what punk's all about.
Let's go. Wow, everyone's firing on all cylinders. This is like this is giving me the same magic feeling as the Hinder comp for real. Like big time.
It's pretty incredible. Man, I do love knowing that somebody like conceived of an idea like that, and it just like it connects it all. I feel like we've connected all eras of our lives.
And I'm so glad Normie made it in, because Normie is really the definitive
the definitive punk.
Yes. Okay, Fake Good Club featuring Todd Killings. Am I Kraut yet? Fake Good Club is back. Props to Johnny Todd Leglift for the solo. So I think it's some Kraut. Am I Kraut yet? Let's go.
GBH, I got them all. Mixed up my dogs, and I'm
solo.
Really, it is time for us to get into crowd rock.
Yeah, at least just into fake good club.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is enough. This is enough crowd rock for me.
Oh, that was so sick.
Incredible. And just a truly great solo. I'm also really excited seeing this next title too.
Yeah, but man, like Todd Killings is definitely an MVP every week. Like that's just
for sure.
Todd Killings is to me like a rock legend in my opinion. Not even just like not just in the 155 community or not just in the punk scene, but like
all
capital R rock. Todd Killings is a.
I don't think that's a controversial take.
I don't think so either. I'm just going to be one day. There's going to be a Mojo magazine with Todd Killings on the cover, like the archival Todd Killings retrospective.
Yeah, totally.
Tightrope Tiger. Am I cyberpunk yet?
Oh yeah.
Oh, sounds so good. Holy shit.
Like honestly, like such a like perfect execution of a vibe, and then when those like harmonized vocals came in, just like total liftoff. Incredible.
And then like it made me think about a sad robot, like not just like, you know how like in pop culture robots are always wishing they could be human or feel feelings, but then imagine like a sad android who wishes he could be punk.
Let the android be punk.
It's so good. All right, here's Yeah Nah with Am I Punk Yet?
Am I Punk Yet?
Like hearing someone just do a more faithful version is also so exciting at this point.
Totally. Yeah. Like it's really sick to hear that. You're like, ooh, yeah, that is good. And like, again, in the same way that we were hearing all these different like rehearsal space versions or whatever, it's like the same song, but like in a different space. And I'm like, I like that also.
Yeah, there's something about this song that really does sound like it adds to it to hear different interpretations of it.
It plays the space.
It does. Yes. It
really
does.
That's true.
Okay, this is really exciting. The mysterious artist Brainhead the Worst. They usually appear in here, and Sam always messages me and says, yo, did we miss the Brainhead the Worst one? That's because Brainhead the Worst is usually just submitting artwork through the submitter. Yeah. But this week, Brainhead the Worst says, I finally made some audio work. I hope you enjoy. This is 6 minutes, 13 seconds long. We're starting it at 2 minutes 20. Brainhead the Worst, big audio debut. Let's go.
Big audio debut. That's the Mick Jones band, right?
Wow, this is beautiful. The accompanying artwork is just like this really grainy waterfall.
Yeah.
This is perfect. Oh, they're kind of doing a black metal growl of the... I think I heard punk.
so good.
Sick.
I'm so
Holy
excited to hear
shit.
all 6 minutes of Brain had the worst audio debut, big audio debut.
Oh my God, that was so cool.
That was cool. We haven't had there haven't been really gloomy atmospherics yet this episode, so pretty nice.
True. Okay, and finally, he said he was gone, but I don't think he could resist the allure of Am I Punk Yet? Folks, it's the return of DRMC with Am I Punk Yet? Let's go.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
I want to show you something.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
Am I punk yet?
And that's Am I Punk Yet?